What's up, turds? It's Sean Creo, Team Destined here, bringing to you another video. This time around, it's going to be a deck profile on the deck that I used in today's Digimon Booster Box Regional, and that would be Hunters. I performed really well today. I'm very happy with my performance. I was basically undefeated all the way, going through round 8, going into round 9, barely missing out on grand finals, unfortunately, but I still had a lot of fun today. This regional was basically, I was playing Hunters just because on a whim. Since I already had my invite, I figured I would play a deck that I used to play all the time and that I have max rared, and I performed surprisingly well. Went a lot better than expected. I was expecting to go like X3 drop, but didn't end up going that way. So I hope you guys like this video. If you guys like competitive Digimon content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow for more, and I'm going to go ahead and stop talking and get right to the deck list. All right, starting us off with our eggs here, we only run 4 eggs. For obvious reasons, it's going to be Monimon. It's the only egg that has the save in its text. On deletion, if the Digimon has save, draw 1. It's basically self-explanatory, good for draw power. One important thing to note is that, of course, you have to make sure that you activate the on deletion first, because if you save the Digimon on top of it, it's no longer going to be in trash, so you can no longer activate on deletion effects. Not much more to say about that. Monimon's the best egg. It's the only egg you can really play. Starting off with our rookies, we have 4 of the old BT12 Gumdra. So this card's really good for getting cards underneath your Tamers. So on play, place a card with save in its text from your hand under one of your Tamers to draw 1. On deletion, it saves, and then you can Digicross for 2. So you can do with any card it would save in its text, so you can play for 2 instead of 4. And then when attacking, you get to draw 1. Really good for cycling cards. It's definitely one of the best rookies out there. But that's it. In my opinion, I like the other rookie more, and that's going to be the BT12 Psychmon. BT12 Psychmon on play, return a card with save in its text from under one of your Tamers to your hand. That comes in clutch like all the time, especially when you're needing to recur a piece. On deletion, it has save. Same thing, you can Digicross for 2, and then when attacking, draw 1. So as you can see, the inheritables for these guys, it's when attacking, draw 1. Sometimes you can draw like 3, 4 cards in one swing, and it's absolutely disgusting. The consistency of this deck is absolutely nasty. For the last Digicross rookie, we have 2 Darkdramon. I was originally running this at 1, but I saw a lot of value the more and more I played this deck. On play, reveal up to 3 Tamers from your hand, place them at the bottom of your deck, and draw 1 for each card placed. So this is really good in those dire situations where you need to see that specific card and just cycle through your deck. Especially in the late game when you have so many Tamers in hand and they don't matter. This is the best rookie to go into. And then you also get plus 2k inheritable and, of course, on deletion save. The plus 2k inheritable is also really, really clutch, especially in this meta with big bodies like Omni-X and Royal Knights running around. Last up for the rookies, we have 2 Gumdras. This is the new BT21 Gumdra. On play, trash 1 with save in its text, or the hero trait from your hand to draw 2. On deletion save, and then it has plus 2 inheritable. Of course, this is a really, really good card for cycling. Obviously, trash 1, draw 2 is pretty solid, but I was running this at 4 initially, and then I went down to 3, and now I'm down to 2. Like I said, I was running 1 Darkdramon originally, and I opted to take out my 3rd Gumdra for 2 Darkdramon instead. Just because there were way more situations where I had this in my hand and I was like, dang, I wish this was like a cross rookie. Basically, most of the time that I have Gumdra in my hand, this Gumdra in my hand, I'm Digivolving in the back and raising, or I'm tucking it under just because I can't, like, playing it feels kind of bad. I mean, to get those 2 cards, that can be really, really nice. But again, I find myself needing to cycle more in the late game, which Darkdramon does a better job because it can cross for 2 and potentially draw more cards. But without giving this card credit, it's really good for cycle. That's it for the level 3s. Now for the level 4s, we have 4 Arrestor Digimon. This is the new BT21 Arrestor Digimon. This card is so good. It can Digivolve for 3 or for 2 on top of save and text on play when Digivolving. Play a Tamer with Hunter or Hero from your hand without paying the cost. On deletion, you get to save itself and then save another Digimon from your trash. So it's really, really good for cheating out those Tamers. This card is basically a better Shoutmon King version, just because the DP inheritable is arguably better. And also it's 6k, so it can dodge Ruin mode, which can actually come up quite a bit. That's it for that, just the four of those guys. Next up, from the card that I was just talking about, we have 3 of the Shoutmon King. This card is obviously really good. I used to run this as a 4 of. Now I'm only running it at 3. On play when Digivolving, you can play a Tamer with Tagiru, which is basically all the Tamers except for Watchmaker. On deletion, save, and then you can save another Digimon. Basically, you can Digicross for 2, so you can make this a 3 drop. And then the inheritable actually comes up as well. And when attacking, if this Digimon has save in its text, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 4k DP or less. Really good for when somebody has 2 bodies on board. You tuck 1 body underneath a rookie and then you swing. I would have liked to run this at 4. It'd be nice to run it at 4, but I opted to run it at 3 just because I feel like there are a lot of situations where I would have rather had a completely different level 4, and that's going to be this guy. Sorry. Next one I'll talk about later. But next up we have 4 Arrestor Digimon. This is the best level 4 arguably in the game. Being able to, when Digivolving, if it has 2 or more Digivolution cards, this Digimon gains Rush. So basically you just do Psychmon for 2, and then you go into Arrestor for ideally either 2 or for you could reduce costs using your Tamers. It gains Rush, and then you can that's how you are able to cheat out multiple swings in a turn. On deletion, save, and then when attacking, draw 1. Also, that's really good for cycle. A lot of times I'm tucking this Arrestor underneath early game in order to get an extra cycle off. Now for the card that I want to talk about was Tuarmon, 3 Tuarmon. This card is so cracked in this meta. I really love this card. I will say though, if you're trying to run like pure gas, I'd probably run Damemon, which this guy. I'd probably run Damemon, but with that being said, Tuar is so important in this meta. In a meta where there is Adventure and Galacti running around, Tuar is so good. Galacti obviously is probably your worst matchup. That deck being able to kill multiple Tamers can be really rough. But if they don't have the Darkdramon that prevents de-Digivolve, Tuarmon is going to be your best friend, because then you can just Tuarmon and then swing over it with one of your Arrestors, right? So really, really good. Against Adventure, the 3 Tuar is mainly for the Adventure, in my opinion. That's why I actually bumped up. I switched from 4 of the Shoutmon King into 3. Originally I was running this at 2, but I had to go put it up to 3 after some play testing. Just because a lot of the times in this, there's going to be a situation where it's like they have like 2 level 5s, right? And then you can 2R to de-Digivolve 1 and then go into Superior to tuck the other one. If they don't have the option, then they can't answer you, right? But there's another card I have in here to tech against. Oh my gosh, sorry, that's my cat. To tech against Adventure. I'll go into that later, but Tuarmon is really good. Inheritable blocker, that comes up as well. Sometimes you just need to like Digicross for 2 into like Psychmon, and then you just have like a 2k blocker, just like that. A 2-drop 2k blocker. So that can come in super clutch. 3 Tuarmon, I probably wouldn't go down any just because for the reasons I stated, and it felt really, really good. This card felt really, really good at 3. Also for your old superior, if you don't have enough tamers and you need to like de-digivolve, this really helps. Next up, that's it for level 4s. We have our level 6s now. So 3 of the old BT12 superior mode. When digivolving, place one of your opponent's level 3 or lower Digimon as a bottom Digivolution card of another one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. For each Tamer with a different color you have in play, add 1 to the maximum level. So basically starting at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., based on your color Tamers. End of your turn, if this Digimon has 4 or more Digivolution cards, this Digimon may attack without suspending. And then the inheritable is when attacking, if it has save, draw 1. Really good for answering those wide boards. Really nasty play, like I was saying, is tuck a rookie underneath, or tuck a stack underneath a rookie, which I did a lot, or a Tamer. And then you go tuck the Shoutmon King and then swing. Shoutmon King will delete the rookie. So really good there. Yeah, superior mode's really good because obviously you have that end of turn. You can swing and potentially just get that like last little cheeky check-in. So really good for pushing game and pushing aggression and answering the board. Good balance between defense and offense. That's why I love that card. Only running it at 3 because I was actually originally running it at 4. But I see it all the time. Don't need to do that. And then on top of that, you have this new guy, BT21. The BT21 superior mode. This card is absolutely disgusting. I'm sure everyone's seen it. Raid piercing. When digivolving, this Digimon may swing without suspending. And then this Digimon gets plus 1000 for each of its Digivolution cards. So this card gets so stinking big. It's insane. At least like 15k, right? And then if you have other inheritables, you can get it upwards to like over 20k. Comes in so clutch against cards like what's it called, Hexablow, because you can swing without unsuspending. But on top of that, this is really helpful in matchups like Royal Knights and matchups like Gallantmon, because you get so big that they actually can't blast you. So in Gallantmon, against Gallantmon, this is my go-to level 5 to save, because you can't get blasted and you're probably going to be bigger than their stack. So you just swing over it and it's really nice. Super good in conjunction with each other. You do have to just watch out for piercing, because that might screw you sometimes if you don't want to give advantage. But that's it. It's just gonna be a 3-3 split of these. I've seen lists where it's like 4-4, right? 4-4, or maybe like 4 something. I feel like, in my personal opinion, 6 is like the perfect number. Just because when I used to play Hunters, right, you would just play 4 of the superior. So then why, with using that logic, right, why would you need 8? That's just so many cards that you have in hand. So many level 5s, I'm sorry. It feels almost overkill, right? I see these guys all the time. The draw power in this deck is insane. The search power in this deck is insane. And on top of that, you can always like recur it with something like Psychmon if you're tucking it early underneath your Tamers, right? So I'm always seeing it. I'm never really missing my pieces, just because of the amount of draw power in this deck. So 6, in my opinion, is a perfect number. I like a 3-3 split because each situation is good for different reasons. This one's good for like those on deletion decks. This one's good for, like I said, the big decks where you need big DP, because you are not running Clockmon anymore. So this guy is going to be swinging for like 10k. So you need to amp it up. A lot of times I'm swinging like 12, 14, 16k with the superior mode, and I'm just hoping that there's no like Omni X insecurity. So that's it for the Digimon. Or I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. We have, I totally forgot I run this. We have 2 Darkdramon ACE. This card is actually very good. I know I just said I forgot I run this, but you're basically forcing your opponent to always respect it. If they don't, and if they don't respect it or don't think about it, this is a game winner right here. It has Scapegoat, so yes, it is an ace, but if you have another Digimon, you can prevent deletion that way. But on play, when digivolving, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then delete all of their Digimon with the lowest play cost. So really clutch against those stack decks. You need to run this at 2. I was originally running 0, which was very silly of me. I was running 0, and then I went to 1, and then for this tournament I went to 2 after thinking about it and realizing how important this card really is. I've seen lists with like 3 or 4, which I mean I don't necessarily disagree with, but I feel like, again, the draw power in this deck is so crazy. I saw this in my hand like all the time really. This card is your bailout for Galacti, because I mean they'll have like ideally, let's say they don't go into the Destro that prevents de-digivolution, because like let's say they're like trying to kill your Tamers. You literally can just hard drop this and call it a day. Hard drop it for 7, kill their stack, and then the board's reset, right? So really good into that matchup. Again, for any stack decks, this card's really good. It came up clutch today against what deck was it? Galaxy. That's a stack heavy deck, right? So anytime they're swinging, they really have to think twice. Or if they just have a single stack, this card cannot come up. It's basically like an option card, right? But I guess it's a Digimon with an ace. Okay, that's it. Now that's actually it for the Digimon. Starting off with the Tamers, we have the old BT12 Tagiru. I was originally running this at 1, but then I realized there's so much value just starting at 3. So bumped it up to 2, cutting out some cards. It's a memory setter, and then for all of the hunters, you get to tap to take a source from underneath to reduce dilution by 1, tucking the source underneath your Digimon. So that's basically all the hunter's effect. Now we have the new Tagiru. You gotta run this guy at a 4 of. Without question, this card really did solve a lot of the problems. The biggest problem that hunters had, in my opinion, which was basically like managing your resources between your Tamers, right? So start of main, tuck a Digimon with save in its text, or the heroes trade from your hand under this Tamer to gain a memory, draw a card and gain a memory. And then same thing as the Tagiru, all of the Tamers do this, except for Watchmaker. You can tap it to reduce the dilution cost by taking a source and putting it underneath your Digimon. Really good. It makes it so that you no longer have to choose between you and Taiki. Tagiru is your go-to Tamer now. You have to run a 4 of. That's not even up for discussion, and it's really nice that it's dual colored as well. So that counts as an extra color if that ends up mattering. Next up for our Tamers, we have 2 of the Taiki. This used to be the best Tamer in the deck, but now with the new Tagiru, that's easily the best. But this is still good running it at a 2 of. You start a main, tuck a save with a card with save in text to draw a card, and then same thing with the reduced dilution effect. Obviously, really good for cycling, so that's why you want to run it as a 2 of. You can run it as 3 of if you really want to, but I mean, it's kind of overkill to run like 6 of those cards, right? So it's just nice to have a separate color, but that doesn't really come up too much just because the new Tagiru is dual color. All right, last up for the hunters trait Tamers, we have 2 Uemano. Start of main, tuck a Digimon with save. Ignore the text. It's tuck a Digimon with save to gain a memory. It's not the plus 2k. And then it has the reduction effect again. This is really necessary just because you need to have a 4th color just in case you need to tuck a level 7. But it's also really good because you're able to gain a memory. So in those certain situations where you need to maximize as much memory as possible, Yu is going to be your Tamer of choice. I was playing around with the new Taiki Kudo. That's what I had 2 Taiki Kudo instead of 2 Yu. I mean, it's cool, right? Because you get to tuck a hero, basically, is what it's going to be. Tuck a hero, draw a card, gain a memory. However, the only heroes that you have are your new BT21 cards. So it's going to be your Gumdra, the new Arrestor, and the new Superior. So that's already limited in options as well. The your turn effect is kind of cheeky because you can cheat a swing, right? But it didn't really come up as much as I wanted it to. It's also a 4-drop, and then also the biggest thing in my opinion was that you can't reduce Digivolution with it. So it doesn't have that Hunter ability where you're tapping it to reduce Digivolution by 1. So that was the biggest thing for me, because the gain of memory draw card was nice, but the your turn effect almost never came up. So it was a nice try, but you can't go wrong with the good old original. Last up for the Tamers, we have 3 Watchmaker. This card is so cracked. I wish I could run this at 4, but sometimes that feels kind of overkill. Watchmaker on play, reveal top 3, add a Digimon with save and a Hunter trait Tamer, or a Hunter trait among them to the hand, place the rest at the bottom. And then if you have 4 more Tamers, by suspending this Digimon or this Tamer, one of your Digimon gets security attack +1. This is how you're cheating out all those extra swings. If you guys watch my game on stream in the actual booster box stream, I think my opponent had like 4 security, and I had just tap Watchmaker, swing 2 checks with the new Superior, swing without suspending, swing 2 checks, and then I just arrested for game. So really good. There was one match in the tournament where I did 2 of these and swung 3 checks, and then 3 checks again, and then like I OTK'd from like 5 security. So that was disgusting. Really good. The only thing is it doesn't have that reduced Digivolution, so kind of awkward. It doesn't have that tuck ability, kind of awkward. So, but you can't complain if you see this in your hand turn 1 in a rookie. That I'm pretty much always keeping that type of hand. Last up, that's it for the Tamers. Last up for the options, we have 2 Crimson Blaze. This is the GOAT card of the format. If you're not running 2 of these in any red source deck, you're probably making a mistake. This card is so good in this format, really good into both Imperials, really good into Sakuya, really good into Royal Knights, surprisingly. So obviously you can play it, but reduce cost by 1 for every Digimon, and then your kills everything 6k or less, and then your Digimon, your opponent can't play by effects. So clutch against Megidra. I won handedly against a Megidra player in the regionals, because I was literally just hard dropping this for 6. They can't really push too much with a Crimson Blaze. I mean, they can still kill you through it, but they would just need the absolute nuts, because of the fact that they can't recur that rush skill. That's actually massive, so they would need to fight through it somehow. There are so many times where it's just like they had their Growlax out, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna Crimson Blaze you die. And it's nice. Also, there was one situation against Royal Knights. They had 3 bodies on board with the 6k blocker, right? So I played Crimson Blaze for 3, basically killing the blocker, and then shutting down Omega, and then I swung for game. Or I swung all their security, so they were at 0 security, and then the following turn I swung for game. So really nasty in that situation. Against Sakuya, prevents token plays and scrambles, right? So it came up against Angels as well. Angels, they couldn't Cherubi me, which was really nice. They couldn't play with their Domini. And then it came up against Levia. They went wide. They had Levia X, and then Gobbly and Labra. I played Crimson Blaze for 2, and then I just went into Superior, swung over, I think, like both stacks, or I swung for game. But yeah, that was really disgusting. So Crimson Blaze, I was originally running at 1, and then I switched it to 2 literally like the minute before. One of these used to be, in case you guys are curious, where is it? Here it is. It used to be a Purple Scramble. I opted to take out Purple Scramble in favor of a second Crimson Blaze. There was one time where I was like, I wish I kind of would have rather had Purple Scramble, But to be honest, Crimson Blaze just comes up way more in this meta. And this can almost be like Win Mori. This is cool because you can get more resources back and then play a Digimon for free, which is nice. But I had to make space, and I wanted to keep this last card, which was Gravity Crush, which is the last card of the deck. Gravity Crush. Not a lot of people run it in their list, which is surprising to me. But I gave it a go because I was like, is this just a win more card? And I can tell you it's definitely not a win more card. Gaining 2 memory is absolutely a game changer. Now you can argue that Purple Scramble, right, reduces like 1 memory and it has more effects. However, you have to play this for 2, which is already awkward because let's say you're like max memory, then that's not ideal. But Gravity Crush, the 2 memory is such an important threshold because of your Digi Crossing, right? So there's been so many times where I'm like at 0 memory and then I Grav Crush and then Digi Cross for 2, and then I go into this Arrestor, tap my 2 Tamers, it's a free Digivolve Eye of Rush, and then I swing for a game. There's been so many times where I do that. I honestly would love to run a second Gravity Crush, but there's just no room in the deck. If you can find space, or if you don't like some of these cards, I guess you can take it out and do a second Gravity Crush, or you could do a Scramble if you really want Scramble in. I did really want Scramble in the deck just because it can be a nice security bomb for an extra body. But Gravity Crush, I think, won me 3 matches today. Absolutely disgusting. That's pretty much it for the deck. In terms of matchups, let's see. Match 1, I went into Royal Knights. First match of the day, my brain wasn't on. I tied with him. We played it out. It turns out I would have won with if I had let's say a minute, maybe 2 minutes left. But I was misplaying too much. My brain wasn't on. We tied. Round 2, Levia. I had won that one 2-0. Again, Crimson Blaze came in clutch, and he couldn't swing into my security because he couldn't OTK me, and he had a Levia X, but he chose not to swing because he didn't have Cerberus X. So if you can't OTK, it's probably best to not swing because then he would have given me so many Tamers, probably given me a lot of advantage. So he was just too slow, really. Match 3 was Megidra. I think that was 2-1. Again, this Crimson Blaze came in so clutch. He couldn't do anything. I think both games I won, I just dropped this for 6 and put him to 5. Couldn't really do too much, but there was one turn where I just had the absolute nuts and swung for game. After that, what did I face? I faced Angels. He just couldn't get into his Domini fast enough. Couldn't get into his Domini, and I was able to really, really pop off with Tuar. This card is so cracked. Being able to Digivolve Domini is so good. But basically, I would just always tuck his Angels underneath each other after I Digivolve his Domini. So really, really good there. And then I went into 2 Galaxies, 2-0, both of them, I believe. The problem with that deck, it's actually a winning matchup unless if you're going into Galaxy Dragons. That's super tough. My opponents were both good players, but they both did brick, so I will say that. But regardless, the matchup's really rough because I'd say for them, I mean, it is winnable for them, but I definitely think it's like Hunter's favored if you're not running the Galaxy Dragons. Just because it's single stack, they're always going to have a Tamer out, right? So you're always going to be able to tuck their Digimon, and you're able to answer their board that way. And then, of course, you can always swing and push aggression with the new superior mode as well. So, and then also Darkdramon ACE. That's what I was talking about before. My opponent couldn't swing for game because they were threatened by Darkdramon ACE, which I did have it in hand. But in situations like that, that's why I was saying is really good. And then after that, I faced into 2 Gallants. I won against 1 Gallant 2-1. And then if you guys were watching the booster box stream, I tied, unfortunately, got my second tie in round 8 against the only other X01 player. Super unfortunate there. I was just in a time crunch. I had game in my hand, but I had crossed with this Gumdramon. I looked at the footage. It was this Gumdramon, and I did it like this instead of this. I think just like I wasn't looking at the cards when I was putting it down. So I played it for 3, and then I said I went to 1 memory, and then I went into Arrestor for 1, and then swung for game. And then I had scooped up my deck, but then the judge had said because I had done this, I would have gone to 3 and then passed turn, Digivolving for 2 into Arrestor. So I would have passed turn and it would have draw. We would have gone into a draw. So they ruled it as a draw, which was super tragic because again, if I would have just looked at my cards and done this, I win the game. On top of that, I had Gravity Crush in hand. So like all those cards, it could have played out to where I was in the finals as the only X01 going facing against the only undefeated. But unfortunately, I lost or I got a tie in round 8 because that's how that was ruled. I really wish that they could have rewinded it. I feel like I was really surprised that they didn't, because generally with rulings like that, if it stopped, then you can rewind, and then at that point I would have been like, oh well, I'm at 0 memory, I can just grab Crush and then go into Arrestor, right? So but unfortunately we scooped it up and they had just ruled it as that. So it is what it is, judges make their call. I guess it's different per judge. It is what it is. Super unfortunate, but with that being said, if you guys were watching my stream, I went full tilt on that one right after that, because then I went again in round 9. I went to the worst matchup again. Oh no, I forgot. I went to Sakuya one other round, which I had won 2-1. That's a hard matchup. But they had bricked 1 game, and then I was able to blow them out another game. And then my round 9 was Sakuya again, and I was just praying that that happened again. And it did not happen again. They had the absolute nuts, like turn 2 ruin mode, turn 2 like Valder arm. I got 2-0 obliterated super fast. There was literally nothing I could do. I swung, hit Rika and security. It was literally worst case scenario. They just had the absolute nuts, and I got 2-0 smashed. So super tragic. Definitely a rough way to end the tourney, considering I could have been in grand finals, but it is what it is. I finished 24th place. And I'm still really happy with the deck. I had so much fun playing the deck. All my opponents were very good players. Shout out to everybody. I faced a lot of people that I had met in Dallas, so you guys were really cool. And shout out to anyone watching my stream. That was a fun stream. But anyways, I really recommend this deck. I think it's good into the meta, especially with Crimson Blaze. This card absolutely shuts down most of the meta, and then you just get so much aggression. It's so much fun to play too, just being able to interact with your Tamers. With that being said, just make sure you're sequencing correctly and quickly, otherwise you'll tie. But anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you guys really like this one. Make sure to follow and stay tuned for the next one. And thanks for watching. Peace.